Hey everybody, it's Mike. I'm back and I'm ready to do some more Krishna Cult updates, Krishna Cult watching, and I got part 2 of the last video that we were doing, the Dr. Anna. Such a great video. I'm gonna finish up that, and then I got some other videos about that have to do with women in the Krishna Cult. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna do this opening, and then we're gonna get right to it. All right, here we go.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey! All right, thanks a lot. Hey, let's see, what do we got here? We got Rafael. Hey, man, great to see you again. Thanks for sending me all the stuff that you send me, man. It's great. Yeah, I can't even keep up on it all, but yeah, it's really good. Good to see you here. And yeah, good to see everybody here. And so the first part of this video was really great. If you haven't caught it, you got to go back and watch it. Part 1 of Dr. Anna explaining spiritual narcissism. And if you don't know what that is, you really got to go back and watch part 1. I only got through about halfway, so I'm going to pick up the rest of the video with Dr. Anna continuing to explain spiritual narcissism, and then I'll comment on it as we go along. But of course, first, before we even get to that, I got to do Knitting Cult Lady. So let me see, where is she? Here she is. Knitting Cult Lady. And let's see. Here we go.
Someone is threatening to sue another creator for speaking ill of James Dobson, and I just want to let all of you know that you cannot be sued for speaking ill of the dead. The dead are dead. This has been long decided by the courts, and I found this out from my Macmillan lawyer when I published my major Macmillan book on culture that you can get signed copies of here. Ding dong, James Dobson's dead, and you can literally say whatever you want about him, and nobody can do a damn thing. Enjoy.
Okay, so there it is, coming straight from the lady that wrote the book and her publisher lawyer. You cannot be sued for saying something about someone who's dead. They're dead. Usually we cite to say don't speak ill of the dead, but when they're dead and they're a horrible person, we can speak ill of them. So there you go. So don't anybody out there think that you can't speak ill of Prabhupada or Keith Ham, Kirtanananda, or any of these other gurus that have passed away, Tamal Krishna. You can. You can't be sued. Now, if you want to say something bad, you want to defame or libel or slander a living person, that's different. And if you want to take on that type of litigation because you don't phrase what you're saying correctly, you need to check the laws in your area to make sure that you understand what you cannot say about a person. That being said, a little breaking news. Yesterday was a meeting of Polish ISKCON Yatra, and news come out that Trivikram Das is not getting married and going to Juhu, India. He's not getting married. Wow. Okay, so what that means is he can basically abuse his disciple, pretty much abuse her, because here he had sex with her. You know, I don't know what went on between the two of them, but they were, you know, they were in this relationship. What he says, they were in a relationship for 6 months, because he said he was hiding it for 6 months. So here is a guy, 80-year-old fraudulent guru, who for 6 months was hiding an illicit relationship with his disciple, who was young enough to be his granddaughter. And, you know, he's supposed to be the Swami. So not only did he break his vow, he didn't fall. This is not a fall down. This is not a fall down. This is breaking his vows and then covering it up. So this is a whole nother level. This is not just falling down. This is breaking his vows on purpose and continuing to break his vows for 6 months at least, because that's what he has admitted to, and covering it up, keeping it hidden from his disciples. He continued to collect donations and give lectures and do everything as if he wasn't breaking his vows all that time. And I mean, he's 80 years old. I don't think he wants to get married, but I don't think he wanted to get married. I don't think he's not a Swami. I mean, he's not even really a devotee. He's a faker. He couldn't even do the bare minimum. And the bare minimum is hey, if you fall down, you admit it. I mean, I remember when I was in the Hare Krishnas and I was supposed to go to this Istagosti, and I was supposed to, you know, it's like Scientology auditing. It's like I'm supposed to reveal all the things it's like, what the hell is that? I'm not telling you everything that I've been doing and revealing my mind and my innermost secrets and difficult thought, all the things, you know, like if I had candy or chocolate or whatever, what to speak of an 80-year-old guru who's been doing this for 60 years, supposedly chanting, supposedly doing all of these things. This is a lot worse than having some chocolate or having a cup of coffee in the morning or not chanting your rounds. This is something major. Having sex when you're 80 years old, having sex with your 35-year-old disciple. 80-year-old man having sex with any 35-year-old woman is just, you know, is a little, I don't know, a little suspect. But when he's the guru and leader of one of the leaders of a spiritual organization, and the leader of someone's so many people's spiritual life, or whatever you want to call it, and then he goes and he does this, and then he's just gonna go on like nothing ever happened. He's gonna act like this never happened. He's not going to want anyone to bring it up. He's not going to talk about it. His disciples aren't going to talk about it. They're going to pretend like it never ever happened. And if you do bring it up, his disciples are going to get upset. Why are you disrespecting Vaishnav? Why are you doing this? Because he's a piece of shit. And you're a piece of shit for following him and promoting him. Who's his next victim going to be? What about her? Does she get to retire to Juhu, India, and get, you know, does she get the red carpet treatment like he does? That's how they treat women. Like, what? She gets nothing and he gets everything. after using her. That's what I'm saying. They just use these women and just toss them to the side. It's disgusting. And it's like the least he could have do is like spent the last 5 years of his life being married to this woman that he screwed up. I mean, I don't even know if that was the best thing. I don't know what's the best thing for her. For him to marry her so she's not disgraced. I mean, it's just a bunch of bullshit. He's fucked her life up. He's fucked his own. I mean, he's going to go pretend like nothing ever happened, but I mean, he's still Trivikram sex swami. He's still the sex swami as far as most people are concerned. That's his legacy now. That's his legacy now. He's never going to shake that. I mean, I don't know how he could, but by the way, it's from the website which labeled you a low vibe comedian. Yeah, low vibe. That gets back to Dr. Anna, because she was the one who actually, Dr. Anna is the one who said that this is the term that narcissistic, spiritually narcissistic people use. Low vibe. And Mexican comedian. I don't know about the Mexican comedian though, but low vibe. And they definitely call me low vibe. That's pretty funny. So this lady is right on with everything she says. I only got through half of the video yesterday. So I'm going to finish up this video, and it's really good. And then I'm going to talk about more stuff after that, because this video is not that long. And so let's see where we are with this. Hey, let's see. It's fake human. Retards are us. Yes, absolutely. Glad to see you here. My favorite fake human joining us here. So yeah, this is, again, this is Psychology with Dr. Anna. And she's talking about the psychology of spiritual narcissists. And let's see. Here we go. And we're going to pick up pretty much where I left off yesterday. Let's see. We got everything good? Okay.
I'm really interested what your lived experiences have been. So pop that in the comments down below. Now let's talk a little bit more in depth about what the research says about spiritual narcissists. Contrary to popular opinion, religiosity is not decreasing because of increasing rates of narcissism. That is a common thing that people say, is that, people are becoming less and less religious because they're becoming more and more narcissistic and selfish. Research shows that grandiose narcissists tend to actually be less internally spiritual. Like I mentioned, they are less humble, forgiving, apologetic, empathetic. And yet they report similar levels of religiosity as the general population. In other words, they seem just as religious as the average person externally, but they're less so internally. And despite the stereotypes, atheists and non-religious people tend to be lower in grandiose narcissism. Does this mean that religious people are more narcissistic? No, I think it means a subset of narcissists turn to religion or spirituality because it can be easily weaponized, because it can be a tool of control. Another interesting finding from the research is that spiritual training, such as teaching people how to meditate or even yoga, may paradoxically induce feelings of superiority for those who are prone to narcissism. Because spiritual narcissists tend to have their self-worth be contingent on sort of spiritual accomplishments that they have, feeling enlightened. So when they take part in more spiritual behaviors or they're trained into spiritual practices, that flares up. They tend to feel more superior. Now, at the same time, grandiose narcissists are also less positively affected by certain spiritual practices like meditation. So they might be getting less out of it in terms of actual spiritual benefits, and yet they're feeling more superior because of it. Narcissists also may report feeling angry with God due to a sense of entitlement that, they should have had certain things handed to them over the course of their life. They also tend to have more self-serving spiritual beliefs, and this is interesting. They also tend to avoid prayer after a transgression that makes them feel guilty. Because remember, they are less prone to feeling guilty. They're better at sort of rewriting what happened. But this next part might actually be the most important part of this video. Spiritually narcissistic leaders require a narcissistic flock to support them. So it's not enough to just say, oh my God, spiritual narcissists are so terrible. You have to look inward if you are a part of the community and assess, why is this person risen to power? It's the same concept as why narcissistic leaders tend to rise to power during times of turmoil and poverty in certain countries. The people are trying to compensate for their own lack of self-esteem through a narcissistic leader's grandiosity. They're sort of ideal because they feel so devalued themselves. This is actually why Carl Jung referred to Hitler as Germany's shadow. In his mind, Hitler had risen to power because Germany had this very dark shadow that was just festering and festering that they needed to project to compensate for the ways in which they felt inferior. This is also why people tend to turn to tribalism and narcissistic nationalism during times of poverty and struggle. Like even right now, all over the world, a lot of peoples are starting to get very narcissistic in the way they express their nationalism. Because when you're doing well as a country, you don't need to prove to yourself, to convince yourself that you're superior to other countries. But when you know you're not doing well, when you and the people around you are really struggling, that's when you need the most to derive a sense of self-worth, to be like, what is our worth as a people, as a country, as an individual? The easiest way to restore a sense of equilibrium is to just elect a super narcissistic, exploitative, powerful leader that makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. So that's, I think, the most important piece of this. The biggest takeaway is that it's our own vulnerable narcissism that brings grandiose narcissists into power. Vulnerability and grandiosity are two sides of the same coin. They're words that are sometimes used to describe narcissism. A vulnerable narcissist is someone who feels that they really suck. They really lack self-worth, and that is also what they express outwardly. A grandiose narcissist expresses outwardly that they're the best person in the world, the highest on the totem pole. And so a population who is quite vulnerable in their narcissism is oftentimes going to elect a very grandiose narcissist as their leader. And I think that does tie into spiritual narcissism as well, because when a spiritual narcissist comes to power in a certain religious organization or in a cult, it's often because there is some level of vulnerability also in the flock that's supporting them. Let me know what you thought of this video. Hope you take care, and I'll see you soon.
So yeah, there is some level of, but I'm not sure what the terminology that she used, but she said that the flock is somewhat vulnerable to the narcissism as well, and then they elect this or surrender to the narcissistic leader, and maybe that's why a lot of us don't. For me, I was 20 years in, but maybe that's why some of us have cracks, and never really just went, I don't know what it is, and ended up leaving. It's because we just weren't narcissistic enough, or didn't have those tendencies enough to be part of this ultimately narcissistic, spiritually more narcissistic cult or movement. Because she pretty much nails it on the head in this video. She's just everything about it from the very beginning. So I encourage everyone to go back and watch this video without me interrupting it. It's The Psychology of Spiritual Narcissists, Psychology with Dr. Anna, and it's really something. So I couldn't help but just keep thinking about the narcissism, the spiritual narcissism, and that she said, and how she said that she had never run into it herself personally, and she wanted people to leave comments in her video, under her video. And when I went and I left my comment, because the video was only up for maybe 10 minutes when I watched the video the first time. It was uploaded 10 minutes ago, and I watched it, and I immediately went and left a message, and my message was like the first or second message. I think it was the first message in her video. And when I went to go look at her video today to get this thing set up, there's hundreds of comments in there, and I couldn't even find mine because it was buried among all of the comments of people who had experienced spiritual narcissism, either in a religion or a cult or in their family, in something like that. So I do encourage everyone to go back and watch that video, and maybe even some of her other videos. I'm sure some of her other videos are very, very informative as well. But so I was going to talk about women in Krishna consciousness as well in this video, and then here Raphael tells me that this Trivikram. It was rumored that there's been like 3 or 4 stories about this guy. He had sex with this woman. She was possibly pregnant. He was going to just leave her and he was going to go back to Poland or wherever he hangs out. And then he was going to go to Mayapur and he was going to marry her. And then it was, and then I said, I don't know what I said about him getting married to her. I don't know. But now I guess he's decided not to marry her, and he is going to just go to somewhere, and he's not going to Mayapur. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what he's going to do. She's very knowledgeable and very damn articulate. So Raphael, I encourage you to watch yesterday's show where I commented on the first half of the video, or you can just watch her video. You can just watch her video without me interrupting. But it's really good. The whole thing is good. I thought there was more to her video, but I guess not. I guess it ended right there. I guess it's only 11 minutes. It's only 11 minutes long. But when I did the last show and I was showing the first part of the video, everybody had so many comments because she's very knowledgeable. She's on the nose about everything. She's on the nose about everything. So, if you've been in the Hare Krishnas, watch this video again or watch it for the first time. She explains a lot. She's just really good. She's just really good. And so I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but since you told me about Trivikram and how these swamis, and not just swamis, if a swami can do it, look, here's a guy who's supposed to be in control of his senses. He's supposed to be spiritually elevated. He's supposed to be on another level. He's supposed to be on this transcendental platform 24/7. He's a pure devotee. All of these things, everything that just this doctor said is spiritual narcissism. This Trivikram is that. Everything she says, Trivikram fits the bill. Even to the point where he will rewrite history and say, well, whatever it is he's going to say. She tempted me, and I, whatever it is. Instead of just saying, hey, this is a bunch of bullshit. I was scamming these people. I had sex with her. I hid it for 6 months. I'm a scumbag. I should just disappear off the face of the earth. Instead of looking inside and having that realization, no, he's going to go, I'm going to go to India because she contaminated me and she's a woman, and if it wasn't for her, I'd still be a sannyasi. Whatever it is, he's going to just abuse her some more. She didn't make him have sex with her. It was so easy. Don't be fooled. It was so easy for him to say, you're my disciple. You need to stop flashing me. You need to stop showing me your ankles in class. You need to stop cooking my food. In fact, I don't want you around me anymore. I want, whatever. But see, that just shows you that he wasn't in control. He wasn't in control because if he was really in control, he never would have been tempted. You could have her around. She could cook his food. She could massage his feet. She could do all of that stuff. And he would really be a swami, and he would really be like, yeah, that's cool. No problem. It's no problem. But no. he can't even be around them. These guys can't even be around women. What to speak of? They're not controlling nothing. I'm so much more in control. I go about a kilometer from where I am. There's this big, huge night market, right? And it's just men and women, and you figure it's 50-50, right? So it's like there's hundreds of men walking around, hundreds of women walking around. Everyone's walking around, and everything's cool. There's nothing happening. We're way more in control than this guy, because this guy would be like, "Oh my God, there's all these women around. Oh my God, I'm gonna get an erection, and I'm gonna have impure thoughts, and I'm gonna see female skin, and I'm gonna see female curves, and female prominent features, and all of these things." And he's just like, That's not controlling your senses. Having to lock yourself in a room away from women. Otherwise, at 80 years old, you still can't control yourself. At 80 years old, doing this stuff, you're doing this stuff for all these years, and at 80 years old, you can't be around women without freaking popping one and fucking. Come on, man. You gotta be serious. Now he's gonna run off he's just gonna later, he's gonna run. What? I mean, how do you even. How do you even do that? Fake human. I really thought you were gonna put the kiwi and the guy meditating. Like he's meditating on kiwi. I don't know. I think that's what. I think that's what Trivigram was been made. He's been meditating on this kiwi for 60 years, and finally he said, "You know what? I've been meditating on kiwi long enough. I think I need. I think I need a slice. That that's that's what we're doing." But so here's one of our fake fraudulent guru guys, and I believe I can legally say that one of our fake guru guys, fraudulent guru guys, that one of our spiritual narcissists is what he is. He's one of our spiritual narcissists extraordinaire, and. Yep, there you go. He's just, man. I love that one. Meditate on that kiwi. Oh, man. So, this guy, he thinks he's okay, so this is really good. So, not only is he a spiritual narcissistic fraud, spiritually narcissistic fraud. And a woman hater. But now he's going to tell us about women. He's going to tell us about women. So you got to remember, this guy's wearing orange, right? So he hates women. He hates women. He doesn't want to be around women. He's not in control of anything. He just hates them and doesn't want to be around them. And now he's going to talk about women. Like he has any business talking about women, right? Like he's the last person that needs to be talking. You watched already. Exceptionally accurate. Yeah, it's amazing how accurate. It's amazing how she just clinically describes these guys without even knowing them, without even seeing them, without knowing anything about them. She clinically describes Prabhupada and all of these gurus. She clinically describes them perfectly. Perfectly. Like you said, exceptionally, in a way that I've never heard explained before, and probably never will again. But yeah, absolutely. So here's a guy dressed in orange who hates women, and now he's going to tell us about women. I mean, the irony couldn't be thicker with this with these people.
What are you going to do if you know that this feminism is wrong, it's unnatural, it's not what Srila Prabhupada taught or instituted? What can you do? The first thing you can do, and you should do anyway, is to study Srila Prabhupada's teachings deeply and systematically. As you go through Srila Prabhupada's writings, you'll find that he taught that men and women are spiritually equal, but in the Varnashram Dharma system, which Srila Prabhupada wanted to be instituted, women and men have different duties based on their different natures. Different nature is swabhava, and different duty is swadharma. So it didn't change in the modern world. It didn't change since 1977 that women's swabhava, their basic nature, is different to that of men. It's not antiquated. It's not oppressive to say this. What are you?
Okay. First of all, it's very oppressive to say that. What he said in the beginning was this feminism is wrong. So what he's saying is women should not have their own destiny, that they should not be in control of their own future, that they need to be under the control of a man, and a man should tell the women what to do. That's the whole anti-feminism. If you're anti-feminist or anti-feminism, you basically want to control women. You want to tell women what to do. You want to tell them where they can work, what kind of jobs they can have, if they can work, if they can't work. You want to control them. You want to control them, because feminism is about letting women choose their own destiny, including their own bodies, whether they want to have children or not, whether they want to get married or not, whether they want to work in an office building or whether they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever they choose to do. Well, that's not what he's saying. Because if you read Prabhupada's books and you deeply study and do exactly what he's saying, Prabhupada doesn't say that women should just forge ahead and just choose their own destiny. He says no. He says women need to be subservient to men, their husbands, their son-in-laws, their sons, their whoever, their father. He says women are never to be given independence. And this is what this orange-clad freak is saying. And then the other point is he's saying that if you study Prabhupada's books, you'll see that Prabhupada says that men and women are spiritually equal. Well, no. And then he says, but in the Varnashram system, in Prabhupada's Varnashram system, Prabhupada's spiritual movement, he says that men and women have different duties according to their swabhava and their whatever. That they're different. They're not equal. Men and women are never equal, no matter what they try to say. Prabhupada never says men and women are equal. He says they're equal spiritually because we're all spirit soul and we're all servants of Krishna. But men and women are not spiritually equal, and even the women, if men and women were spiritually equal, women wouldn't have to stand over on the left and the men chant on the right, or the women have to go upstairs and the men can do this. Or women, can only do this, and that, and men can do whatever they want. There wouldn't be all these restrictions on women in his movement if they were equal. They'd be gurus, they'd be temple commanders, they'd be temple presidents, they'd be everything. They wouldn't just be decorations for the men to make the temple look pretty, making garlands and, making clothes for the deities and doing all the all the girly stuff that they want. How are they equal? All this shit is a bunch of bullshit. They'll tell you that men and women, oh well, Prabhupada says we're all equal, all spiritually, we're all spirit soul. Bullshit. It is such bullshit. Prabhupada says men and women are less intelligent. He doesn't say, but the women in my movement have 64-ounce brains. He never says that. He never says that the women in his movement are smarter than the men or just as smart as the men. He never says that. He says no. Women can never be trusted. Women can never have any position of authority. Women can never do this, can never do that. This whole thing is everything they say is a bunch of bullshit. And that Dr. Yudin, she explains it. All they're doing, these spiritual narcissists, all they're doing is projecting their ideas and thoughts and disgusting views and things onto some God or some scripture or some authority. And then they can just spouse it out. And that's what this guy's doing. He doesn't know anything about women. The fuck's he know about women other than what Prabhupada said? And what did Prabhupada know about women except he had an 11-year-old child bride that he didn't even fall in love with. So what does Prabhupada know about women? What does Prabhupada know about love and marriage? Prabhupada was a failure when it comes to love and marriage and all of that. I was a failure at all of that. He taught that shit to his disciples and put that shit in his books. He wants you to read Prabhupada's books. You'll read it, you'll see all that, you're gonna see all that crap in his books. That's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see all that crap. And then who do we got here? I don't know this woman, but I know the name. Somehow or other, I came across this person. She passed away. I think she passed away a few years ago. But here she is talking about women in Kali Yuga. So this goes all the way to Kali Yuga, not just Prabhupada's movement, but Kali Yuga. But it's really interesting what she has to say about women and their views of women, the view of this cult, and how she's right along with it. She's right along with what she's about to say. Like she has like no self-awareness, zero self-awareness of what she's talking about.
He was saying that in Kali Yuga, things are so degraded that people don't trust men. He says, nobody will allow a man to come up to them hardly, or they would never let a man knock on their door and open the door. What time is that? Yeah. So then he said, but he told a story about when he was a young man, they were selling this hair oil, this Brahmi hair oil, and they would send these young women, respectable young women, door to door, and then everybody would open the door and buy Brahmi hair oil. And Prabhupada said, it was not even ever proven that this Brahmi hair oil had any medicinal properties. He said, but as women, this is Lord Chaitanya's plan that, he is sending all these nice young women in so you can help these poor conditioned souls go back to Godhead. Govind.
Hey Glenn, how you doing? Good to see you here. So, Prabhupada said that Lord Chaitanya was sending him all these beautiful women so that he could prostitute them and send them out to collect money for him. And basically Prabhupada was the pimp and he was sending these women out. And a lot of these women were actually prostituting themselves to make extra money. I don't know if it was because they weren't selling enough books and they wanted to come back with money, or if the kirtan leaders were telling them to go prostitute themselves to bring in more money, or if it was a mutual thing and it was just everyone knew. But I definitely heard from both women and men that there was a time when going out on Sankirtan meant prostitution. So I'm not sure which temples. I have a pretty good idea. I think Laguna Beach was one where that was going on. I can't tell you. All the other ones where that was going on. Um, Prabhupada vision, village full of guys in late 20s and 30s with 11-year-old brides. A vision of Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, exactly. Because Prabhupada says in the what is it, the fourth canto, where he says, all 16-year-old women, all 16-year-old girls must be married to 25-year-old men. So he gives that, like, remember, these are the law books for the next 10,000 years. So Prabhupada says that all 16-year-old girls, so that's, they can marry before 16, but at the latest it's 16. Not 17, not 18, 16. So, and we've already heard from these women that they were being married and still being married at 13. And girls are being touched and molested at 11. That age, 11 years old, seems to be like the golden age for. That's when my daughter was touched. That's when so many other girls are being molested and abused starting at around the age of 11. Marriage, 13 up to 16. No later than 16. And that's Prabhupada's that's Varnashram. That is Varnashram for these freaks. Is everybody living on a farm? Everybody's a farmer. Everybody's got an 11-year-old wife, 13-year-old wife, 16 if you're unlucky and you got the old one. But if you're lucky, you get 11 to 13-year-old. That's Prabhupada's vision. That's what these guys, they got all these farms all over New Talavan in Mississippi, and they got some place in New Zealand, places in Australia, places in South America, places all over the world. Rafael would know better than me where a lot of these farms are, because he was in it later than I was, and he probably knows more. He can probably remember more than I can remember. But they got these farms all over where this is where they want to do their Varnashram. This is where you get your 13, your 11, 12, 13-year-old wife, I guess. Because if they're following the rules, those are the rules. But of course, like the lady said, one of the main points that I wanted to bring up was, like the lady said, it's Kali Yuga. So we can use women like this. Look, they were using women to sell hair oil in Prabhupada's day. That's what they think of women. You can just send them out, and they will sexually entice men into buying. And it's somewhat true. I mean, human nature. It's not. I'm not gonna lie. But what I'm saying is, here you got the Hare Krishnas totally just abusing that idea that we can send women out to bamboozle men, and they were. And the old time devotees will tell you that's exactly what we were doing. We were bamboozling men. We had all these pretty women going out dressed up just like they're doing now. These women from like Poland and Ukraine and Russia and all these places where they all dress up and they all look the same. They all look like Lonnie Anderson, and they're out there with their gopi dots, and they're all the same colors and all the same makeup, and they look like Stepford wife clones, and they're all out doing their Harinam. It's the same thing. That's no different. It's no different. So I came across this video, and I have not watched even 1 second of it, but I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good because it's women in Krishna consciousness. It's I don't even know who this lady is. But this is gonna be a good one. Clowns, absolutely. It's friggin' child. They're the evil clowns now. They're the evil clowns with the balloon, and they got that weird looking face. That's the kind of clowns that these guys are. These guys are evil clowns. Um, Let me see. How do I get out of this?
Hare Krishna, my name is Dear Lalita Dasi, and today we are examining the controversial topic of women in Krishna consciousness. So, it is not easy for a woman in Krishna consciousness pursuing pure devotional service amidst her God brothers who might extinguish her enthusiasm to do service or preach and share our realizations. My god sister Vishaka Devidasi produced a nice book on the subject called What Are Women to Do? I recommend you try to read it. In my YouTube talks, I would like to address this subject for the benefit of all sincere lady practitioners. In a letter, Srila Prabhupada writes in 1972, our leaders shall be careful not to kill the spirit of enthusiastic service, which is individual and spontaneous and voluntary. They should try always to generate some atmosphere of fresh challenge to the devotees, so that they will agree enthusiastically to rise and meet it. That is the art of management, to draw out spontaneous, loving spirit of sacrificing some energy for Krishna. First of all, I would insist that before doing anything else, one must examine oneself sincerely and ask such questions as, am I ready to help myself and others? Do I have the qualifications and spirit of sacrifice for such a task? Am I doing this for my own name and fame, or in a service mentality?
Oh my God! After watching that, after listening to what she just said, after watching the video of Dr. Yudin explaining the spiritual narcissism, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how she's an example. She's like a living example of what the doctor just explained yesterday, as far as how the exploitation and the emotional blackmailing of and getting that free labor out of the person through the spiritual narcissism. I mean, it was just amazing to listen to her explain how I'm being manipulated by my spiritually narcissistic guru. Hey, good afternoon, Eliana. Great to see you here. I finished up the other video, and now I'm listening to this lady talk about women in Krishna consciousness. And so, all the women that are here that have experienced Krishna consciousness, they know exactly what it's like, and you can hear how these women will, like, I don't know, what do you call it, like sane wash or women wash how they're treated in Krishna consciousness.
Maharaj has spoken often. Physician, heal thyself. Before you can heal others, you must heal yourself. If you are full of defects and bad habits, you won't be able to help others. Therefore, practice what you speak. In our movement, Lord Chaitanya's mission, we are not exempt from the universal law. A woman needs to be more qualified than a man to occupy the same post. She has to prove herself in order to be taken seriously. By example, women have rarely taken a managerial position in an ashram or temple. However, Lord Chaitanya's movement is about spreading love of Krishna, not about position or society consciousness. So one must not be attached to such trivial things. Our false ego, either male or female, always wants to be selfishly recognized. Krishna consciousness is not about our personal goals. It is about pleasing Krishna. Once Krishna
Emotional blackmail. So Krishna consciousness is about pleasing Krishna. So any hardship that you may have to endure because you're a woman that's just the way it is. That's your karma for being born in a woman's body. And it has nothing to do with anything other than that. That's just something that you have to deal with. And, it's just unfortunate, but that's the way it is because that's the way Krishna designed it. And that's devotional service. So you got to get over that.
is satisfied, everyone involved will be satisfied. We need to forget ourselves and follow in the footsteps of the gopis, who were selfless in the service of the Lord. They did not have a tinge of selfishness in them. They completely surrendered to Krishna, body and mind, not for themselves, but for his own pleasure. And by doing this, they benefited also 100%.
So the perfection is to surrender to the man, just like the gopis did, not for your own pleasure, but for the man's pleasure. So if the man is smacking you around a little bit or treating you badly or whatever, that's okay because this is all about the man's pleasure, not your pleasure. Your pleasure is derived by giving the man pleasure. So if his pleasure is smacking you around a little bit, well then, you got to suck it up a little bit and, take one for the team or two or three for the team. And I guess that's how Narayan was able to get away with smacking around all his wives. And he justified it. And he got one wife after another, after another, after another, after another. And treated them all like shit, evidently. Because he was spiritually narcissistic, just like his guru taught him to be. You can pretend to be, you can pretend to be humble, and really have this grandiose image of yourself, and then you can do these things not for the pleasure of doing them, but because they make you feel like you're superior, and then you can feel superior to everyone else and look down on them and control them, manipulate them, and emotionally blackmail them. The same way Prabhupada was spiritually narcissistic and exploiting Narayan, Narayan is spiritually blackmailing and exploiting his wives, all his wives. Because he's just following the blueprint that Prabhupada put in his books. The same shit that she's spouting out. She's voluntarily presenting herself as that person that's been groomed. I've been groomed to be abused. I don't think for myself. I have no ambition for myself. I think of myself as Maya, and I need to cling to a spiritually strong man or my guru. Otherwise, I'm nowhere in life. Friggin' insanity. On your video, Bhakti Vikas, also known as Hugh Turvey. Yeah, Hugh Turvey. Mr. got following, building stone temple in Salem, South India, already 100 members strong in satellite areas as Grahas's farm nearby as well. Yeah, that guy's a big-time cheater. He's a big-time cheater. He's not in control of, he ain't no Swami. He's not in control of anything. He wears orange because he hates women. You heard what he said on the video. You think that a holy man has these holy men that truly holy or spiritually advanced? If you want to, accept that there are spiritually advanced people who are enlightened and can teach you something on how to be a better person or how to be a happier person in life. If you think that those people really exist, and maybe they do, and if you think that they really exist, do you think they're going to treat women like this? And talk about women like this? And groom women like this? And treat little children like this? And cover up for pedophiles the way they do? And cover up for people like Lokanath Swami? And worship people like Kirtanananda Swami? And have an organization where gurus like Bhaktividya Purna Swami is able to run a school for years and years and years, and who knows how many children are abused, traumatized. That's the real issue, man. As you had said, Mike, a lot of young girls and young women were merely seeking validation in the wrong places. Women folk need to stop following these gurus and swamis like flies. Man, it is so sinister how they canvas for young people. Like, there's been more than one. Like, the one girl joined. I don't even remember how she joined. But the old lady that joined when she was a kid, she joined because she was looking for work on a farm where she could just work on a farm and exchange for boarding. I can eat and sleep on your farm, and I'll do some work on your farm, and I'll stay here for a little while, and I'll move on. She made the mistake of going to a Krishna farm. So she goes to a Krishna farm. She ends up being a Hare Krishna for the rest of her life. Wasted her life, just like that. So in the same way, they are out there canvassing for people to bring them in under the false pretenses, and then they get sucked into this shit. It's like the guy's brother ends up on the farm in India milking a cow. He had no business doing that. Prabhupada tricked all these people into doing this bullshit. And you go, well, they're adults. But they were misled. They were lied to. They've been misled and lied to from the very beginning. So you can't say that they chose to join this on their own, not when they've been misled from the very beginning. You can't tell somebody, hey, you want to see a free movie? And then they're like, oh, I'm going to go see a free movie. No, but it's a propaganda movie about a cult. You can't tell somebody, hey, you want to take a yoga class? And then you start teaching them this bullshit? And they think they're in a yoga class or a meditation class? I just wanted to meditate, because I'm having some panic attacks, and my doctor said maybe I should meditate. So you know what? Someone told me check out the Hare Krishnas. So I went down to the Hare Krishna temple. Next thing you know, they're telling me I need to chant on these beads, and I got to read this book. And now they're sucked into this friggin' Hare Krishna thing. This is how cults work. Or they're on with these drug-free America or whatever, dare to keep kids off drugs. Cults handing out drug literature, canvassing for people who are on drugs and are looking for something to try out that don't know what's going on. They get sucked into Scientology or whatever under the false pretense that they were just trying to quit cigarettes or something. That is not someone joining on their own when you're being lied to from the very beginning. If you're being lied to from the very beginning, how can you make a rational decision whether you want it? If I go down to the Hare Krishna temple and I go, what's this Hare Krishna temple thing? And they start lying to me, telling me it's a 5,000-year-old ancient tradition from India, it's from Vedic, it's Vedic culture this and Vedic culture that, and everything's a lie. I'm not making my own decision. I'm being manipulated. I'm being manipulated from the get-go. And then they hand me a book and go, here, read this book about it, tell you all about it. That's manipulation. That's not being honest and someone making an honest decision. That's why this cult does not belong going into a high school, being invited. Any of these Hare Krishnas being invited. Hey, I want you to come and speak to my class and tell them about Prabhupada and tell them no. Why are you inviting this guy in there so he can start lying to these kids? Lying to them about a 5,000-year-old ancient tradition, 5,000-year-old scripture, 5,000-year-old this and that, Vedic culture, blah, blah, blah. That ain't true. My close friends in India told me that India have too many bogus holy men, con artists, scammers, charlatans, and views. It is uncountable. They're on every friggin' street corner. You've been to India, you know. They're on every street corner. But most of them are not. Like if you go to Vrindavan, most of the holy guys, the sannyasis or whatever, not ISKCON. It's the regular Hindu guys. They're not doing anything. They're the real deal. I've watched these guys. I lived across the house my daughter and I were living in was across this little road from this little place where these like Shiva looking guys would hang out, and they'd smoke and they'd sit around their little fire. That's what they did all of that. They did all of that. But they were like these, they had like the dreadlocks up on their head, and they weren't ISKCON or anything. They were just like local old Indian guys, like holy guys. And I'd watch them, and that's all they did. That's all they did all day and night, basically. This is some of them are reading, they read a little bit, and they sit there and they just bullshit with each other, smoking hash or whatever, and then do whatever they're not. And then in the morning they get up and they march around and they beg for they get some food in the morning, and they go back and no, the ISKCON is not. That's not ISKCON. ISKCON and Krishna Cult. That's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world. You can't even compare the two. ISKCON is just like a fraud guru factory, pumping out these spiritually narcissistic, fake gurus that just check off every box of malignant, spiritually narcissistic, criminal, fraud, con man, all of that. It's a factory of them. It's a factory. It just pumps them out like Model T Fords. It's just like they take normal people, enter one end, and they come out a fucking freak on the other end. ISKCON attract women with low self-esteem, and then ISKCON takes advantage of that. Yeah, I mean, definitely, they definitely do that. But it's not even, women don't even have to have low self-esteem, because ISKCON will teach it to them. It takes normal people and it teaches them. It's like, I don't know, like women, I don't know what kind of trauma or what kind of, I don't know what it is. But like, I knew some women up at the LA temple that were not, they were strong-willed, independent, they weren't like, but they were Hare Krishnas, and they were brainwashed. But personality-wise, if you took the Hare Krishna stuff away from them, you would think that they would never be that kind of woman where they're like self-hating and anti-woman and all of that, because their personality is the opposite of that. But it's like they're cosplaying. Like they're cosplaying as this submissive, oh, I'm the submissive woman, shy, cover my face, and I'm going to be very, subservient. But they're faking it because everybody's faking everything. So and those are the ones that really get me. I mean, you got your women that are already damaged, and they come into this cult, and the cult abuses them. But it's the ones that are not damaged that come in, and the cult totally damages them. I mean, fucks them up. That's really something. That is really something. That somebody needs to study. Okay, that's somebody needs to study. It's con. Yeah, absolutely. What a con. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, evening. Good evening. There, you got it right. You got it right. It's Jai Maha Jagat Guru Sri Mukunda Das Swamiji Ki Jai, deprogramming guru. Yeah, absolutely. Now, you could even put Bhakti Vedanta Vaidurya Rasalila Vedanta Nama Nanda Vedanta Nanda Swami. So, I don't know. You can just keep adding names. You could just keep adding names, and like every day you can just add a new name in there, and it'll totally make sense. It's like it doesn't matter. And then pretty soon it'll just be like this Paravajakya, Trinandi Dandi, Dundi Dundi, Tutti Frutti, whatever. It just keeps going on and on and on. That's what it is. That's what it is. They exploit that low self-esteem through promoting humility. They want folk to feel bad and unworthy about themselves. Absolutely. That's part of the gaslighting and the narcissism. Like I need to feel bad about stuff that I don't even know why I'm feeling bad and guilty about stuff, but I got to feel, now I'm feeling guilty about stuff that's not even wrong. It's like I feel bad about eating onions and garlic. Like isn't there enough stuff that I should feel? Isn't there enough stuff I should feel guilty about? You got to make me feel guilty about onions and garlic too. I already feel bad about killing cows and chickens. I mean, I was a vegetarian before I joined Hare Krishnas. I'd actually been I'd been a vegetarian a couple times in my life. It was a time in high school when I was a vegetarian for a short while, and then I became a vegetarian just before I joined the Hare Krishnas. So being a vegetarian in the Hare Krishna was no big deal for me. That wasn't really a regulative principle because I was already a vegetarian. It didn't mean anything. But I couldn't eat onions and garlic, and I couldn't eat mushrooms, and then I remember I ordered something. I was with this devotee. He wasn't really a friend of mine, but he was like an acquaintance. He was somebody I'd met, and we were somewhere together. Like I was doing him a favor, and we were somewhere, and we stopped, and I ordered, and I got something with cheese, and he like freaked out because I was eating processed cheese, and he goes, I remember this conversation, and he said, why are you eating that cheese? And I said, it's cheese. It's cheese. It's not meat. It's cheese. And he said, oh, no. That cheese, that's processed cheese. And processed cheese has got all these chemicals in it, and it's got this animal product in it. And even if it's like cheddar cheese or American cheese or Swiss cheese, you can't eat it because it's got animal product in it and it's processed, and we don't eat that. He's giving me this whole lecture, right? Like I'm like mid bite. of whatever I'm eating. You know, it's like a veggie burrito or something, but with cheese. Yeah? So I'm like, and he's like, no, you can't. You know, he's giving me this whole lecture, and I'm like, you know, are you done so I can, you know, I eat my burrito or whatever it was, you know, and so I'm eating anyway, and he's just like, oh my god, like after like after everything he said, I'm eating anyway. I'm like, I'm eating this. I'm eating I'm eating a sandwich, man. I don't know what to tell you. And so he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're still gonna eat that. I told you we don't eat that as Hare Krishnas or whatever, you know." And I said, and I, I said to him, and I know this sounds funny, and it is funny. And I said to him, I go, look, man. I said, look, man, I'm not eating meat, and I'm not eating eggs, but I'm eating cheese, man. I mean, I'm gonna eat cheese. I'm gonna eat cheese. And he just looked at me like okay, well then I know not to hang out with you. Like I was a bad one. I was one of the bad ones. Um, let's see. I want to spin the wheel a little bit. Let's see. Oh, you guys are having oh here. I've seen hundreds of class of young girls and young women joining in those yoga schools and ending up joining a cult group, worshiping cult guru personalities and being abused. Yeah, I've heard about that. In fact, I've watched some videos about it. I think I did a video about it maybe a year ago. I actually did a video about a girl, and she explains how she got into it. She got into it because she was dating a guy who was doing yoga, and she started doing yoga with him, and then they broke up, and she didn't have anybody to do yoga with anymore, and she liked doing yoga. She was just doing regular ass yoga, right? Regular ass yoga, and RAY, regular ass yoga. And her boyfriend, they broke up, and she had no one to do yoga with, and so she meets a girl at a job or something, and happens to mention that, you know, she's looking to do yoga somewhere, and the girl goes, "Yeah, I do yoga." And she's like, and the girl's like, "Oh, wow, you do yoga?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's how I got my car, my apartment." She starts telling her all about it. So anyway, she goes because she just wants to do yoga, and it's one of these cults. And the yoga guy is like a cult leader, and he like takes control of her life because it's like it's not enough to just. It starts out. It's not enough to just do yoga. You got to do the chanting, and then you got to chant. You got to chant the mantras, and you got to do the yoga, and then you got to do the kirtan. You got to read the books, and then he's like, you know, you got to change your diet. You can't eat this. You can't do that. You got to wear this. You got to wear that. And she said after like 6 months or something, she realized like her whole life, her whole thing is different now. She's like in a cult, and that's the warning is like you never know where these freak guru guys are gonna turn up. Um, but yeah, like any of these new age yoga groups, these yoga groups, like Bikram yoga and some of these other yoga type things, you got to watch out for them because some of them are really suspect. So there's plenty of information being posted online. Yeah, Google, peace be upon it, and you'll be surprised. Even the Divine Life Society of Swami Shivananda and his associates has a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Some of them you'll be surprised that they're included in that because you're going to say, "Well, I didn't know they were part of it." There's a lot of them. So you say, yeah. So Bikram, Chaudhry, Yogi Bhajan is one. Yeah. So those are the two. Those are the two that I know of. But there's a bunch of them, and they all operate the same. That's so true, and I'm pretty sure I had a lot more self-esteem before ISKCON. Yeah, they just that whole humbleness, being humble and being subservient, and you know you're the servant of a servant of a servant, and you're just like a speck of dust, and you're like a blade of grass, and a speck of dust at the feet and all of that stuff is just grooming you to be abused. And it's all karma. You know, it's like, they teach low self-esteem. Exactly. And it's gaslighting. It's a combination of all of that. It's humility on steroids. Yeah, I'm the most humble. No one's more humble than me. I'm actually so happy Mike I've decided to start these classes. Meeting ex-ISKCON members has been a great healing deal for me personally. I thank you, Mike, and all of you. Awesome. And for me too, let me tell you, I feel the same way. I gotta say that I agree. I've been doing these classes for a while now, but it's really taken off now that I have a lot of you feedback, and we're exchanging stories, and we're all learning from each other. It's great to know that others experience the same thing, and that way others that are watching can see how we can relate to each other, and that we've had similar experiences, yet we're all different, and we're all from different parts of the world, different temples, different areas, different people, but we've all shared the same experiences that this cult has. So it's really great having these classes and having everybody joining in. I can't tell you how much it means to me as well. Yeah, it's the ghosty. It's the ghosty to have here. And thank you to everyone that joins in. I want to thank all of you. It's great. It's great that you guys join in. I can't tell you how much it means to me, because I didn't have. I'm going to tell you seriously. Before I was doing this, and all of you have joined in, I was really following the Scientology protests, and I was really jealous that Scientology had a community of creators and a chat audience that they could share their experiences with each other and with people that didn't know anything about it. And I loved going. I had nowhere else to go, and I would go into these Scientology anti-Scientology creator chats, just so I could feel like I was part of a community of people who had been abused and felt abused in a cult. And then I started doing my own. Someone encouraged me and said, "Hey, you should do your own channel about what you know and what your experiences in the Hare Krishnas." And so I started doing this, and it's really great. I got to tell you, it's really great now that we can talk about Hare Krishna and our experiences, and I'm not interrupting someone else's Scientology channel. I still go to the Scientology channel, and I support, and I watch, and I interject. But now I know that I have my place where I can go and I can talk to other ex-Hare Krishnas and exchange ideas and experiences and all of this stuff, and not feel like I'm on I'm on the outside of it all. So when he came up with a name here, Bhaktivedanta Purna Bhakti Vaidurya Mohini Multi Ananda Sri Mukunda Das Jagat Kudev Jai. That that was a good one. How to spot a cult personality. I'm so super duper humble and a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the blue skinned painted alien god who's the controller of 33 I think it's 330 million. I think there's 330 million planets or something. It's a lot. Now that is a title worthy of Mike's deprogramming class for everyone. The longer the name, the longer the flower garlands, and the more water to wash the feet. Well, you know what? Hey, just since you said that, because you said that now, we're gonna have to go ahead and let's see, where can we go? We can go right here. Bing. So there. So now I'm sitting on my Vyasasan, and I got my little umbrella over my head, and I got these there, and I got my yak tail fan over there, and my umbrella on my head, and my peacocks, and I got the whole thing going on. I got the whole thing going on. And since I got all of this stuff here ready, we might as well. Let me see. What do we got? We got one more video here, I think. No. Oh, I did want to show. Well, no, maybe I'll keep that for another. Let's do Wheel of Idiot. We're gonna do the Wheel of Idiot and see where this is gonna land. I get science gone wrong. Okay, so now that I'm in the correct temple, I'm in the correct temple environment. We can go ahead. We can go ahead and we can spin the wheel. Spin the wheel today, and see where it lands. We have some fun with this wheel. The Wheel of Idiot Holy Men, and here's what the wheel looks like. And where did I go? There I am. Hey, okay. So we'll give this thing a spin, see where it lands, and then you got to give me a second to bring up the idiot, so we can watch him in action. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see where we're gonna go. Oh, Anuttamadas. Hey, Anuttamadas. Yeah, everyone's clapping and excited about that. Everyone's clapping and excited for Anuttamadas. So give me a second. Let me see. Because I know... let me find this guy. He is the... what do you call it? He's like the minister of propaganda, I guess. He's like the propaganda guy. Public relations. There you go. Propaganda, public relations. So, because he's the ISKCON, whatever you call it. What did I say he was? He's a PR guy. He's public relations. He's the head brainwashing guy. Okay, here. So this is just one. Here's one from just a year ago. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. What is this now? The Temple of Vedic. Okay, well, let's watch. Let's watch this one then. Okay, here we go.
My name is Anuttamadas, and I'm serving this year as the chairman of the governing body commission of the GBC of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the Hare Krishna movement. 2015 is an especially important year for devotees and friends of the Hare Krishna movement, because this is the year that we mark the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, leaving India, boarding the steamship Jaladuta, and heading to America to begin his worldwide preaching mission. 2015 is also the year of the TOVP Temple, the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. We're asking devotees from all around the world to come together to make a special effort to help support the building of this beautiful temple. As we know, Lord Chaitanya's movement started here in Mayapur. Srila Prabhupada's movement started here in Mayapur. And it's a wonderful international headquarters that we're blessed with. And this temple will give an opportunity for devotees and people who are not familiar with the Hare Krishna tradition or the Bhakti Yoga practices to come here in this wonderful place, see this beautiful temple, and learn about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, learn about Srila Prabhupada, learn about the process of bhakti and how one can awaken their love for Krishna. So we welcome all devotees. We request all devotees, please give serious consideration what you can do to come forward and offer some financial contribution, some other opportunity to offer your time, your energy, to help build and complete this beautiful temple for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so this guy wants you to he wants you to give money to this building of this temple, of this fake temple of planetary temple of Vedic planetarium, I think it's called, the TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. So it's just, imagine it, it's basically like somebody building Noah's Ark in the middle of Kansas somewhere, and they're going to show you how the ark was built, and all the animals went and got on the ark, and how each lion was sitting here, and he's let's say sitting there. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, you want people to give money for that? Now these devotees that are giving money, they're giving money. They're being conned by this guy into giving money to build this thing. But yet, they didn't want to pay the $400 million to the children that they abused right there in that same city, Mayapur, so and Vrindavan and Dallas and wherever else these kids were being abused. And they sued them for $400 million. They didn't have the money. They didn't have any money for that. They were bankrupt. They filed for bankruptcy. They said, we don't have $400 million we got all these temples all around the world. And we have plans to build all these temples all over the world. But we don't have any money to give the kids that just won $400 million. So they get Alan Dershowitz, the guy that goes to Epstein Island and gets massaged by young girls in his underwear. Epstein's buddy, they get him to defend them and get the appeal and get the award knocked down while he's going to Epstein Island. Like he's appearing in court for ISKCON, and then when he's not appearing in court, he's flying off to Epstein Island. And then he's coming back from Epstein Island, he's getting massages from young girls, underage girls. He said he got massage from young girls. He already said that. He just said, I kept my underwear on. And he already admitted to that. So he's defending ISKCON in court with their pedophile lawsuit, child abuse, sexual abuse lawsuit. And then when he's not in court, he's flying off to Epstein Island to get massages from these young girls. That's this Alan Dershowitz guy. Defending ISKCON. That's where they spent their money. So you think Alan Dershowitz is cheap? Think he's cheap? He's not cheap. He costs a lot of money. So Anuttama was the editor-in-chief, global minister, ISKCON Communications, and GBC member. Anuttama Das has been a member of ISKCON since 1975. He's spent his whole life in this cosplaying. Spent his whole life cosplaying as some 16th, 15th century Bengali, thinking he's saving the world. He now lives in Rockville, Maryland, and attends the local ISKCON temple in Potomac, Maryland. Yeah, and when he's not in Potomac, Maryland, he's off in Mayapur hanging out with all his buddies, Bhavananda and Rameshwar and Trivik Ram, all these guys. They all go hang out in Mayapur. Keeping his doty on. Keeping his doty on. So that's Anuttamadas. A big cheater. A big a spiritual narcissist, thinks he's enlightened, thinks he's coming from God. He's got what does it say here? Look, it's even got right here. His grace, Anuttamadas. His grace. He thinks he's a God man. He thinks he's enlightened, like Gorahari or was any of these other frauds. Now, why does he have his grace? What has he done that's graceful? He hates women. He teaches that women are this and that. He hates black people. He hates all this stuff. But he gets his grace in front of his name? This is such bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. I try to make it funny, but you know what? Deep down inside, it's just disgusting. It's just absolute disgusting. And this guy's and all the bullshit that this cult has done, all the lives it's destroyed, all the suicides, all the abuse, lawsuits, all of that. And this guy's got the nerve to get on there on YouTube and say, "Hey, send us some money so we can open up another big giant temple. Cost friggin' $500,000 or whatever, or $500 million. I don't know how much. I don't know how much it takes. How much it costs to buy that land and build a big friggin' temple like that. I know it's a lot cheaper in India than it is anywhere else in the world, but still, that's a lot of money to build a big friggin' temple like that. All the corruption, all the people they got to pay off, all the land mafia and whatever bureaucrats and things they got to pay off to get to be able to build the biggest friggin' temple for the eye can see. You know the money it's got to take to build that friggin' temple, all paid for by these. It's that alone, like if the guy donating, he wants you to send money so he can go do Guru Palooza in Rishikesh, or a swimmer pod can go swim in his marathon, all under the idea that they're selling books or doing this or that. And this temple is no different. Yeah, they're getting this temple built, but these people are making money off of this, and they're living like friggin' kings and queens and Maharaj and whatever, and on someone else's dime. These guys don't. This Anuttamadas does not contribute one fucking thing to society. He takes from society. He has tax breaks. He gets donations. He runs a temple. He's part of the GBC. He's got followers. He's got all this stuff. He ain't doing nothing but taking. He's a big fucking parasite on society. It's it. They all are. Oddly, Iskonites are busy building those mega church-like temples with no one inside. It's mostly low traffic, and only on their major festivals and Guru Palooza days would it be millions of visitors. Yeah, at least friggin' Joel Osteen and whoever, they got a big giant mega church, but the friggin' thing is full. These ISKCON temples. Well, in India, it's easier for them to get a bunch of Indian tourists to go in their temple, but in America, I'm gonna do this on a show one time. I'm just gonna click into and watch these ISKCON temples in North America and around the world. They have their live stream on their temple rooms, and we're gonna watch and just see how there's like 4 people in there, 5 people in there. L.A. temple, you get like 7 people in there on their live stream, in their temple room, in their classes. I saw one the other day. It was a temple in London. It was a temple in London, and they're having like a program, like a celebration thing. Like 10, 15 people in there. 10, 15 people in there. I don't even know how they. I don't know how they stay afloat. It's I don't know how they stay afloat, but I can't believe how this is so much fun. This is so much fun doing this stuff with the Hare Krishnas. You know, exposing them, uh, doing the deep dives on them, exchanging. This for me is so enjoyable for me, and it's so therapeutic that the time goes by so fast. So it's already an hour and a half into this thing. I'm going to call it quits here. I want to thank everybody for watching, man. I want to thank you for joining in, because I think joining in is so important for those that are watching that are in the cult. They really need to see all from all different angles, and that it's not just this crazy old man with cotton candy hair that's yelling at his computer. So I want to thank you for all of that, for joining in. It makes it so much greater. Let's go back to the brick wall, and please hit that like button, man. That's really important. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. And yes, absolutely. Do that with the turquoise covering your eyes. Yes, and like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, everybody, please like, share, and subscribe. And then and really, I'm so excited to do these now that we have our own Istagosti Sangha, that we're able to. We all know each other and we're exchanging ideas. It's a great community that didn't exist before. So I want to thank you all for creating that with me. I'm still overwhelmed. I'm still overwhelmed that this is actually happening in this way. And I know that it's so much more powerful when we're all joining together and discussing and exchanging ideas. It's a lot more powerful for those that are watching that need help, to see that it's not just some crazy old guy yelling. So thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll be back with some more stuff. I got a lot more stuff to talk about. So I'll definitely be back, most likely tomorrow, and to do some more. And everybody have a great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you are. Have some great luck, and please stay out of a cult. And again, here's me as a Hare Krishna. Thanks, everybody.